We start with the story that has dominated the window. Will Liverpool break the British transfer record to sign Alexander Isak? Newcastle United have opened the door after agreeing a club record deal of their own. £69 million for Stuttgart striker Nick Woltemade. So, what now for Isak? Let's play a quick game of transfer domino, shall we? The final one seems to be Alexander Isak. Will that domino fall? The first one is about to. Nick Woltemade. Newcastle's statement in response to Alexander Isak was that the terms and conditions of a sale were not met. Now, those terms and conditions were twofold. The price that they valued Isak at and bringing in two replacements. Woltemade looks like it's one. They need another one. Could it be Jurgen Strand-Larsen, Johan Wissa? Again, those two deals are complicated by Wolves and Brentford. Wolves don't want to sell. Brentford need a replacement of their own if they are to allow Wissa to go. They've made a bid for the Borussia Dortmund striker, Maximilian Bayer. Carve, there's so much going on just now with all of these deals. It's a bit like, I've called it transfer dominoes. You could almost call it a house sale as well, couldn't you? Because there's so many chains involved in this, but how will it end? Does it fall with Isak getting his move to Liverpool?
Well, I think he could on Monday, but I still think that Newcastle would need to sign another forward. They still haven't given up hope of signing Wissa or Strand-Larsen. I think if they sign one of those two players, then you have to wait and see what Liverpool do. We've seen Liverpool have been very, very disciplined in the transfer market. People talking about Liverpool making a bid of £150 million. I can never see that happening. They think the player is worth a British record sum. I think if they're going to go above that, it's not going to be much more than that. Maybe they'll change the terms of the deal or the structure of it a little bit. But Liverpool, I think, are still in a pretty strong position because they can bide their time until deadline day.
Now, you've noticed, and I don't want to pour scorn on my profession, but you've noticed that it's only Isak that is seen as the bad guy. There's something going on behind the scenes where he's being advised to behave in a certain way. But this isn't a good situation for football. If he gets his move, it isn't a good situation for football because there are young footballers out there looking at the situation and thinking, oh, right, that's the way to do it. Players have got to take responsibility for who looks after them. And it's quite obvious that world-class players need world-class advice. They need people that have got hindsight or foresight. If anybody's telling me that this player came into Newcastle and no one expected him to be successful, then why is he playing football? So now we have a situation where he's forcing himself into doing a move. Liverpool could quite rightly say to him, we want a 20-year contract with no buyout because he's got nowhere else to go.
Can I just ask you about the statement that Isak made? Because you had a situation there where he is claiming that promises were reneged upon. Now, as an agent...
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
Promises were reneged upon. We're in a multi-billion-pound industry. Any promises have to be put in black and white in a contract. If it's not put in a contract, then it doesn't exist. And for any agent to not put discussions, whatever promises were made have got to be put in a contract. If it's not in a contract, you can't expect anyone to honour it. And for the player to say that he was made promises, that's a reflection on his representatives. Because players just want to play football. And if they sit there with someone and say, oh, right, you know, the common saying is clubs will say, don't worry, just come and knock on our door, you know, when things are going on. That's just not good enough. He's a world-class asset. You can't blame Newcastle for giving him a 6-year contract, well played, right? But then when it comes down to the divorce has to be negotiated at the same time as the marriage. There are too many agents out there doing an average job, and I don't want to criticise this agent in particular because I'm not 100% sure what's going on behind the scenes. But this situation should never arise.
Oliver Glasner there, the Crystal Palace head coach. It's too late for Mark Gahey to leave, Carve, is it?
I think from a Manager's perspective, yes, definitely. Mark Gahey has got a very close bond with Oliver Glasner. He is the most experienced player on the pitch, the most experienced defender on the pitch. Glasner doesn't want to lose him at all, but I don't think everybody at Crystal Palace would necessarily share the same opinions as Oliver Glasner, because we've heard Steve Parish say publicly, we can't have a situation where a player leaves on a free transfer next summer, a player as good as Mark Gahey. So either he's got to sign a new contract, or we're going to have to look at maybe accepting an offer for him. So I think it all depends on what happens in the next few days, because who knows, maybe after Liverpool play on Sunday, you could have a situation where Liverpool make an official bid for him. Then I think Crystal Palace would have a big decision to make.
Palace now have got to make a decision. If it's purely financial and they want the manager to not be happy, they do a deal before Monday.
Kostas Tsimikas is set to leave Liverpool this summer, with the club reportedly open to offers for the Greek left-back. Since joining from Olympiacos in 2020, Tsimikas has found himself primarily playing a backup role to Andrew Robertson, Liverpool's established first-choice left-back. Though the 27-year-old has impressed when called upon, contributing key assists and defensive stability in cup competitions, his opportunities in the Premier League have been limited. Despite his positive contributions, Tsimikas has struggled to secure a regular starting spot, and with Liverpool undergoing a period of transition under new manager Arne Slot, it seems increasingly likely that the defender will seek a fresh challenge elsewhere. Tsimikas, who still has 2 years remaining on his contract, has made no secret of his desire for more consistent first-team football. The situation has been further complicated by Liverpool's recent signing of young left-back Milos Kerkez from AZ Alkmaar. The arrival of Kerkez, a highly promising talent, has made Tsimikas' position at the club even more precarious, with the 19-year-old adding depth to an already competitive left-back position. As a result, Tsimikas' chances of breaking into the starting lineup have been further reduced, and the Greek international is now reportedly looking for a move to a club where he can feature more regularly. Several European clubs, including those from Serie A and the Premier League, are said to be monitoring Tsimikas' situation. His departure would mark the end of his 3-year stint at Anfield, where he helped Liverpool secure major honours, including the UEFA Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, and EFL Cup. However, with Robertson firmly entrenched as the first-choice left-back and Kerkez providing further competition, Tsimikas has struggled to establish himself as a consistent starter. Liverpool, which has been active in the transfer market as part of a broader squad overhaul, appears ready to part ways with Tsimikas to make room for fresh talent and better fit Slot's plans. Tsimikas, in turn, is believed to be eager for a move that will offer him more prominent playing time. As the summer transfer window progresses, it's expected that the 27-year-old will have no shortage of suitors, with his exit from Liverpool seeming imminent. The addition of Kerkez only strengthens the likelihood of Tsimikas' departure, making it one of the most likely moves of the off-season.